la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la la la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la la la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la la la. Ya la la la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. La 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la la la. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. It's our first Shabbat, Erev Shabbat, since the high holiday season came to a close last weekend. And we're ending the month of Tishrei now, and so we have a slightly different sound and flavor that we're going to have tonight, and I hope it's going to help us carry into this new season, the rainy season. A rainy season I think we need, refreshing water to cleanse us and remind us of all the wonderful things that come from Hashamayim, from the heavens, and the gift of life that it provides. Rabbi?
Thank you for that, Cantor Adam. Shabbat Shalom to all. We gather on Shabbat. We gather on Shabbat sometimes to just express the joy and the positivity and the hope and the possibility that flows from us so naturally. That's one of the experiences of Shabbat. Another, some maybe different experience of Shabbat is we gather because we're actually looking to find ways to cultivate the hope, the confidence, the optimism, the possibility, the aspiration, because without Shabbat, it feels so darn hard and so darn challenging and so maybe even bleak. So as I say Shabbat Shalom to all of you, and Cantor Adam as well, only within an hour ago, maybe two, I saw this horrific news out of Paris. We can't even speak the words at this moment. But for some of us, Shabbat is a time to check in to all that's going on. And for some of us, Shabbat is a time to check out, tune out. And each of us makes the choice that feels right and important and timely for us. For some, these candles of Shabbat, then that the Golan family will light in a moment. For some of us, the Shabbat candles remind us to become more active, more involved, more engaged, more committed. For others, these candles remind us that at this moment where we know how bombarded we are 24/6, and maybe it's helpful to carve out a little window of time for nourishing, ensouling our hearts and our nishamot. Whatever the lights of Shabbat, the candles of Shabbat inspire and open for you, beautiful. For all of us, we get the pleasure and privilege of having the Golan family as we celebrate tomorrow morning, Liam's bar mitzvah. He becomes bar mitzvah. It's going to be a really special, exciting, joyful day. And tonight we You go to the Golan family, Stu and Greg. I don't know, Liam, you know, a friend of yours, Greg Botwinick, he's the tech person at this moment. Ah, there you are. There you are. You know Greg Botwinick, so he's behind the scenes. All right, Jen, I see you and your beautiful boys. Your beautiful boys. Hello, Lior. We turn to the Golans.
Hi.
We're on page 2.
Baruch atah Nala Tetzivanu Shel Shabbat.
Amen. Amen, amen. May the lights of those candles in your home fill your home tonight and every Shabbat for decades to come. Fill your home with warmth and curiosity and passion and compassion. As I see all those qualities in you, Liam. Okay, Shabbat Shalom to you all.
Shabbat.
Thank you. We turn now to page 12 for Lechu Neranana, page 12.
Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Naria, naria letzur yishenu, nekad mafanav betoda. Naria, naria letzur yishenu, bizmirod naria lo. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai.
So we turn to page 13 for Psalm 96.
Shiru l'Adonai, shir chadash, shiru l'Adonai, kol haaretz, shiru l'Adonai, shiru shir chadash, shiru l'Adonai, kol haaretz, shiru l'Adonai, barechu shemo, basru miyom liyom yeshuato, shiru l'Adonai, barechu shemo, basru miyom liyom yeshuato. Sapru v'goyim kevodo, bechol ha'amim niflotav. Sapru v'goyim kevodo, bechol ha'amim niflotav. Ki gadol Adonai umchulal, meod norahu al kol Elohim. Ki gadol Adonai umchulal, meod norahu al kol Elohim. Shiru l'Adonai, shir shir chadash, shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai, shir chadash, shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. We're on page 16. Zamru l'Adonai. Let's actually try that in C, if we could. Zamru l'Adonai bechinor, bechinor v'kol zimra, v'chatzatzrot v'kol shofar. Hariu lifnei hamelech Adonai, yiram hayamu יחד הרים ירננו. לפני אדוני קיווה לשפוט הארץ. ישפוט תבל בצדק וימים במישרים. ירם הים ומלוא תבל ויושבי בה. נהרות ימחו כף יחד הרים ירננו. נהרות ימחו כף יחד הרים ירננו.
Psalm 99, page 17.
אדוני מלאך ירגזו ימים, יושב קרובים תנות הארץ. אדוני בציון גדול, ורמהו על כל העמים, יודו שמך וגדול ונורא קדוש הוא. ויעוז מלך משפט אוהב, אתה כוננת מישרים. משפט וצדקה ביעקב אתה עשית. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להדום רגליו קדוש הוא. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו, כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו.
Before we turn to L'Chadodi, I want to share a thought. Simchat Torah last Shabbat. We've suffered through another week of presidential election. We witnessed a historic event, the hearings on the Supreme Court nominee, Amy Coney Barrett. Might surprise you, but actually the Psalms that Cantor Adam just led us through in this Kabbalat Shabbat, these Psalms that we recite every week, they actually relate very much to the work of the Supreme Court. Psalm 96 on page 13 speaks about Yishpot Tevel B'Tzedek, God will judge with Mishpat and Tzedek. Psalm 97 on page 14, Tzedek u'Mishpat Mechon Kiso, Mishpat and Tzedek are the base of God's throne, God's abode. Psalm 98 on page 16, Lishpot ha'aretz, Yishpot Tevel B'Tzedek, again, God will judge with these two qualities. And again, as we just offered, finally, the Psalm 99, this line, Mishpat u'Tzedakah, Yaakov, justice and righteousness will God bring to Jacob. The psalmist is actually amazing at helping us to focus our attention on what matters most. Kabbalat Shabbat is about simcha, joy. It's about a shir chadash, a new song. And along with Chadodi that we'll offer in a moment, these prayers are about recommitment and renewal. It's about the love and the compassion of our wedding vows every week. But there's another critical ingredient of these Psalms. That ingredient is justice. Justice, a critical pillar of any peaceful and prosperous society. The Psalms of Kabbalat Shabbat and so many other Jewish moments of prayer urge us to focus on justice and righteousness, mishpat and tzedek. This has been a week in the halls of the Senate in which the institutions of government and justice are trying to work effectively. Each of us can judge for ourselves. A candidate for the Supreme Court, two candidates for president. What are these words, tzedek and mishpat, and how are they different? Just a very brief thought on this. Mishpat is simple. Mishpat is the even, unbiased, blind application of the law. But tzedek is something else. Tzedek requires an ability to discern what is real and what is not. Tzedek demands that we distinguish between fact and fiction. Tzedek commands us to see the difference between the conclusions of law enforcement agencies versus conspiracies offered by media. Tzedek urges us to ask, who should we see as the source of reliable facts? The director of the FBI or media outlets offering a range of theories, conspiracy theories? Psalms 96 to 99 teach us that without tzedek, we will not have a peaceful and prosperous nation. These Psalms, this portion of our Shabbat service every week, this ancient wisdom teaches that a nation, a people must trust on its institutions of justice. Any people that is unable to do the sacred and religious work of distinguishing fact from fiction will not long survive. L'chadodi on page 20.
Lecha dodi likra kala Penei Shabbat nikabela Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad Hishmi'anu el hamyuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad L'shem ultiferet v'lithilah Lecha dodi likra kala Penei Shabbat nikabela Lecha dodi likra kala Penei Shabbat nikabela Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha Ki hi mekor haberacha Merosh mikedem nesucha Sof ma'aseh b'machshava techila Lecha dodi likra kala Penei Shabbat nikabela Lecha dodi likra kala Penei Shabbat nikabela. Verse 5 Hitoreri, hitoreri Kiva orech kumi ori Ori, ori, shidaberi Kevod Adonai alayich nigla Lecha dodi likra kala Penei Shabbat nikabela Lecha dodi likra kala Penei Shabbat nikabela. We're at the last verse, verse 9. We welcome that spirit of peace to join us now after a turbulent week. We rise to welcome that spirit of peace. Boi v'shalom ateret bala Gam b'simcha u'v'tzola Toch emunei am segula Boi chala, boi chala Lecha dodi likra kala Penei Shabbat nikabela Lecha dodi likra kala Penei Shabbat nikabela Lecha dodi likra kala Penei Shabbat מקבלה לך דודי לקרא כלה בני שבת לקבלה.
Our psalm for Shabbat, Psalm 92, on page 22.
מזמור מזמור שיר, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, 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 מזמור שיר, מזמור שיר ליום השבת. טוב להודות לאדוני, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר ולזמר לשמך עליון. טוב להודות לאדוני, טוב להודות לאדוני, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר ולזמר לשמך עליון. טוב להודות לאדוני, להגיד בבוקר חסדך, להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות, ואמונתך בלילות. טוב להודות לאדוני. Skipping down to the indented paragraph. Tzadik katamar yifrach ke'erez balevanon yizgeh shetulim behevet Adonai bechatzerot Eloheinu yafrichu. Od yenovon beseva deshenim verananim yo להגיד כי השער אדוני צורי ולא עוולת בו.
We go from the song of Shabbat, Psalm 92, to Shalom Aleichem, really with so much heart, trying to bring into our minds and our sense of gratitude of all of the people who are angels in our lives, who help us, rise just a little bit higher. It's page 24. 24.
Shalom Aleichem Malachi Asharet Malachi Elyon Mimelech Malachi Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shalom Aleichem Malachi Asharet Malachi Elyon Mimelech Malachi Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Aboechem L'Shalom Malachi Ashalom Malachi Elyon mi melech Malachi Amalachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Baruch Hu Nile Shalom Malachi Shalom Malachi Elyon mi melech Malachi Amalachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Baruch Hu Nile Shalom Malachi Shalom Malachi Elyon mi melech Malachi Amalachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Aitzeitchem Shalom Malachi Shalom Malachi Elyon mi melech Malachi Amalachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
You know, Jewish prayer is actually not only meant to be something in your mind, it's also meant to be a bodily experience. So if you'd like to rise as we approach Baruch Hu, we turn now to page 26 for the Chatzi Kaddish. When we get to the bottom of the Chatzi Kaddish, if you'd like to rise, feel free.
Yitkadal v'yikadash Shemei Rabbah
Amen.
V'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael Bagala Bagala uv'zman kariv v'yimeru Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevorach le'olam ulol me'omaya yiparach yiparach v'yishtabach v'yipar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shmei dekudesha v'richu le'elah min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'yimeru Amen.
If you'd like to rise, feel free to do so for the Baruch Hu on 28.
Lai, 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 lai.
Page 30.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר בדברו מערבי ברבים.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, who thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzevaot is your name, ever-loving God, ever-living God. May you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening.
Baruch atah Adonai Hamari Varavim Ahavat
32.
Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim אותנו למדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו וקומנו נשיח בחוקך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ויורך ימינו ויורך ימינו ובהם נגה יומם ולילה יומם ולילה ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד.
Feel free to be seated if you're standing. 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Let's turn to page 37 and offer this kavanah, this meditation. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work, whether you're tired or you're rested. Let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai, your God. I led you out of Egypt, become your God. I am Adonai, your God. Micha Mocha on page 40.
מי כמוך בעלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. מלכותך ראו בניך, הוקע הים לפני משה ומרים. זה לי, עמו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר, כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגואלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
Page 42. Hashkivenu, 43.
Let there be love. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu vehamidenu leshalom. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu vehamidenu shomreinu lechayim ufros aleinu sukat shalomecha vetakneinu be'etzah tova milfanecha vehoshienu leman shemecha ve'hagem be'yadeinu ve'haseh me'aleinu oyev tevet v'cherev וחרב ורעב, ויגון והרחק ממנו. עוון ופשע ובצל כנפיך תסתירנו, כי אל שומרנו ומצילנו אתה, כי אל חנון ורחום אתה, ושמו צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ולשלום, מעתה ועד עולם, מעתה ועד עולם. Now and forever spread your shelter over us. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Spread your shelter over us of peace upon Israel and over Yerushalayim.
The Shamro on page 44.
It's gonna be one of those nights. Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל עוד היא לעולם, עוד היא לעולם, עוד היא לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית העולם. Everybody hold up 6 fingers. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. Hold up 7 fingers. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. אוי, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Amen, amen. With that little journey through sanctifying Shabbat, the Shmor, why don't we all rise now for our standing prayer, the Tefillah Amidah on page 46.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. We're on page 48. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avoteinu ve'Imotzeinu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא אל עליון גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם מכלכל חיים בחסד מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים מאמונתו ישני עפר מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומדום מלך מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישוע ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We take a moment for our own private personal prayer. We'll come together in a few moments with Shalom Rav on page 62. 60.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם שלום רב על ישראל עמך Tasim leolam, tasim leolam, tasim leolam, tasim leolam. Baruch atah Adonai, hamavarech et amo Yisrael, Bashalom.
With that beautiful prayer, Shalom Rav, on our lips and in our hearts, a prayer for great peace, we turn our thoughts and prayers to all of those in our lives in need of healing of mind or body, and invite all of you, any of you, to share the name of a loved one you're thinking about. Page 253, Misha Berach.
מי שברך אבותינו מקור הברכה לאמותינו. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu מקור הברכה לאבותינו. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Beautiful prayer for healing, beautiful tefillot, beautiful prayers. This Shabbat, we begin again our annual reading of the Torah, Ma'aseh Bereshit. Liam will read it tomorrow. It's about new life and new opportunity, about initiative and vision, hope and possibility, right? But let me remind you of other highlights. I'll go from the end of the Parsha to the beginning. Going backwards, I'll remind you how our Parsha ends with the wickedness of the men of Noah's generation. The middle of the Parsha, Cain's murderous act against his brother Abel. And our beginning, Adam and Eve's decision to eat from the tree and its consequence, that of human mortality. Vayar Hashem ki rabbah, ra'at Adonai, ra'at Adam. The powerful men of Noah's time were wicked. God saw how great was man's wickedness. V'chol yetzer machshavot libo rak ra kol hayom. Every plan devised by man, all of our thoughts were nothing but evil all of the time. And in the following verses, which we'll read next week, they all die in the Mabul, the flood that is to come. That's the end of our Parsha, chapter 6. Man and wickedness, man and immorality, man and death. Chapter 5, by the way, is a genealogy of Adam. But in chapter 4, we meet Cain and Abel, the two sons of Adam and Eve. They were the first two humans born to a mother, the first brothers. Cain is jealous of Abel because Cain, brought a gift to God that really was about himself, not about God and gratitude and generosity. Rather, it was about his vision, Cain's vision, of how to improve his own material well-being. Cain's giving was really about Cain's getting. And since God prefers Abel's gift, Cain kills Abel while in the field. He murders his brother. It's shocking. Chapter 4, the death of Abel at the hands of his brother Cain. And then there's chapter 3, The Nachash, the serpent, convinces Eve and Adam to ignore God. The serpent entices Adam and Eve to deny responsibility for their actions. They blame each other for their choice. And what's the result? Lo tochelu mimenu pen yamut. Don't eat of the tree, pen yamut, lest you die. Death as a possibility, as a reality, enters the world in our very first parsha. It doesn't exist in Gan Eden in chapters 1 and 2. In those chapters, in our opening ones, there's no death. But death arrives very quickly in chapter 3 and throughout our parsha. So what is Parshat Bereshit about? I submit, at least tonight, that our parsha is an introduction to the subject of death, of mortality. If Genesis is about creation and life, it's also about destruction and death. Why am I thinking about death? Maybe because I'm now 60 years old. Maybe because I have many conversations in my weeks with people who are feeling anxious, nervous, scared about life. Maybe it's because almost 220,000 Americans and over 1 million people around the world have died of COVID. Maybe it's because for some of us, we may be witnessing the decline, the demise, potentially the death of the nation we love. Finally, death is definitely on my mind because the last of our holidays, Sukkot, our holiday of joy, Zman Simchatenu, has so much to teach us about death. I've recently learned from Rabbi Sachs and Breitowitz for the first time the extraordinary connection between the ending of our holidays and the beginning of our Torah readings. The end teaches us about the beginning, the conclusion enlightens us about the introduction. Immediately before we begin again with Genesis on Sukkot, we read the book by King Solomon, Kohelet, Ecclesiastes. Kohelet is Solomon. And what's it about? What's its theme? What's its key word? Havel havalim amar Kohelet hakol havel. We're going to die, and therefore all of life is vanity. It's pointless, meaningless. The word Havel appears 38 times in the book of Ecclesiastes. What does it mean? I know a lot of you know. Vanity, pointlessness, meaninglessness, right? Wrong. Yeah, that's the way it's translated often. But Havel does not mean vanity, meaningless, pointless. That's not what it means. Rather, Havel is about our breath. The correct translation of Havel, according to Rabbi Sachs and others, is a shallow or a fleeting breath. Ecclesiastes is written by the most powerful man around, King Solomon. I may think that I'm the greatest king, the richest, most powerful man in the world, but in truth, it's all Havel, a fleeting breath. What Solomon is obsessing over is the possibility that death turns life into an absurdity. And many of us, maybe who amongst us doesn't struggle with this feeling, with this little whisper of a voice? But as Rabbi Sachs teaches, Kohelet might be humanity's greatest tutorial, greatest exploration on the subject of death. There are others, Tolstoy's Confessions, Ernest Becker's The Death of Death, Shakespeare's King Lear for you Shakespeareans. At the end of King Lear, King Lear holds Odelia's dead body and he says, "Why should a dog, a horse, a rat have breath, and thou no breath at all?" All agree that Kohelet, Ecclesiastes, is a searching study of mortality. So recognizing this, let's ask the question, who is the first person to die in Torah this week? Answer, Abel. Abel is the Torah's first death. Abel, the son of Adam and Eve, who was killed by his older brother, Cain. Anyone know how to say Abel in Hebrew? Hevel. That's Abel's name. But it's also the word that's used 38 times last week in Ecclesiastes. Havel evalim kol havel, all life is havel. Do you see the link? 38 times in Kohelet on Sukkot, and then Abel, Hevel in our opening Parsha. This is amazing. Hevel, Abel, is the first person in Torah to be deprived of his Havel, his breath. Clearly, there must be a connection between the holiday of Sukkot, the book of Ecclesiastes, and the opening portion of Bereshit. Breath and death and life are at the core, the heart of this season. But not only our high holiday season, which just passed, they're the central theme as we move from our festival holiday to the beginning of our Torah. And our Parsha takes us even deeper. Yes, Cain took the breath, Hevel, from his brother Havel, Abel. But just as Hevel's name in Hebrew reveals a mystery, so too does Cain's Hebrew name. What could possibly cause a sibling to be able or willing to kill his own brother? How in the world could a brother think that his sibling's life is just an expendable breath? A Havel. In Hebrew, Cain is Cain. Please understand the meaning of Cain. It's from liknot. It means to purchase, to buy, to acquire. When Eve gave birth to Cain, she literally says that she just purchased her child. She somehow had the idea that this child, humanity's very first, was an acquisition, a purchase. But we all know in our bones that no child is ever a purchase, an acquisition, a buy. In fact, our task is to make every child just the opposite. But this Cain way of thinking is rampant throughout history, and it exists in our time. Acquisition, purchase is so often our first solution to life's deepest problems, which sometimes begin with our fear of mortality. Our culture tells us over and over again that what we lack most in life can be cured by something we can buy or acquire. Embedded in the words, in the names of humanity's first two children is an extraordinary and timeless drama. It's the tension between the sanctity of life versus the fleeting value of any object, between the holiness of breath versus the flailing effort to defeat death. Cain represents the destructive illusion that an acquisition can defeat death. Cain and Hevel frame the question: can the fragility of life be solved by kniyah, by material abundance or acquisition? We all know the answer. Of course not. All we have is our holy, sacred, precious breath. In truth, it took Solomon, Kohelet, many years to discover this. Eventually, he realized that wives and riches and palaces couldn't do it. By the time he writes Kohelet, he, the wisest of men, has a new and deep insight. So what did he come to discover? Why do we read Ecclesiastes, Kohelet on Sukkot just before we read about all this death in Bereshit? Genesis. The answer to this mystery is also in one word used more often than maybe any other in the book, except for the word Hevel, breath. Hevel is used 38 times in Ecclesiastes, but the second most oft repeated word is simcha. Simcha is used 17 times. In the book of Kohelet, 17 times. In the entire 5 books of Torah, it's used 16 times. Kohelet is telling us the key to the fleeting reality of life. Simcha, joy. This is the key that unlocks the mystery. This is the insight that Solomon discovered and that he shares with us every high holiday season. Defeating death is not about wives or horses or palaces, but rather simcha. I want to conclude by asking a final question. What's the difference from a Jewish perspective between simcha and ashrei? What's the difference between joy and happiness? Here's the answer. Happiness, which is something that we Jews care about, but happiness is more of a subject for philosophers. It's a study of an idea or ideal. It's a way of analyzing a life as a whole entity. Simcha, however, lives in the moment. Simcha is about now. Simcha is the choice we can make every day and every minute. William Blake said that joy enables us to hold infinity in the palm of our hand. Or as a Buddhist book title puts it, joy is the power of now. We don't need great buildings of stone to have God or joy. We don't need great homes of marble to experience God or simcha. Remember, when King David asked about building a home for God, this is what God said: "Would you build me a house to live in? I haven't lived in a house since I brought you and your people out from Egypt. Rather, in every little place, I've moved about with you, in a tent, in a tabernacle." God doesn't need a big house. Neither do we. God and joy can be with us in a sukkah, in a tent, anywhere we go. That's why we Jews call God Makom, place. Makom, place. That's our name for God. Not a specific place, any place, every place. In these days of such enormous uncertainty and instability, I bless every one of us to know the wisdom of Kohelet and of Sukkot. Sukkot and Kohelet are not about death. And this Parsha is not about death. Both are about life. Both are about our faith and joy in Simcha, in God and in each other. May the joy of the holidays just past stay with us for many days and many months. May we tease out the simple, sweet, and special gift in every moment. May we always strive for the simple, sweet, and special gift of joy. Shabbat Shalom. We can all rise for Aleinu on page 282.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא וראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל עמונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
287.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא ביום ההוא יחיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
We turn now to share our love with loved ones. If you're thinking of loved one and would like to text their name into us in the chat, feel free to do so. We remember those whose yortzeit, the anniversary of their passing, falls on the Shabbat. Joseph Abramson, Shirley Burke and Seymour Burke, Rita Emanuel, Harry Giffords, Fanny Greenberg, Harry Herzlich, Emmanuel Litwin, Eleanor Markowitz, Ida Weilheimer, William Weiner, and Mary Wexler. and all those who we hold in our hearts. The mourner's cottage can be found on 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah
Amen.
v'yalma divrach cheruteh v'yamlich malchuteh v'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael b'gala v'zman kariv v'imru amen.
Amen.
Yehi
Yehi
Shemei
Shemei
Rabbah
Rabba
mevorach
Mevorach
le'olam
Le'alam
le'omei
Lomei
almaya.
Almaya.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal Shemei d'Kudashah
Brichu.
Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'miran b'yalma v'imru amen.
Amen.
Yehesh lama rabba min shamaya v'chaim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru
Amen.
amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Amen.
May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel. And let us all say one last time, Amen. Okay. Announcements. First of all, thank you to Elaine Springer, who will be hosting our virtual Oneg tonight. We're looking for other virtual Oneg hosts or hostesses. It's easy and costs very little. Just a little investment of your time and care to welcome folks who stay on after the service. Tomorrow morning, Torah study at 9 a.m. There's a new Zoom link, so make sure to see the emails. And after Torah study, our Shabbat morning service with the Golan family as we celebrate the Liam Golan becoming bar mitzvah. Very, very exciting and wonderful moment for the Golan family and for all of us. That's tomorrow morning. Tomorrow evening, of course, we'll have a communal Havdalah at 7 p.m. This coming week, morning minyan, of course, at 7:15 on Monday and Thursday. And then actually this coming Tuesday, lunch and learn with Rabbi Tara. 11:30 a.m. on Tuesday, lunch and learn with Rabbi Tara. That's October 20th. Tara and I will be alternating in lunch and learn. She'll be leading the next Tuesday and alternating. I'll be offering class in the evening at 7:15. That will be again on October 27. We're going to be really doing some deep learning with Dr. Micha Goodman of the Hartman Institute. When I say with him, not literally with him, he won't be present live, but we will be with him in many of his lectures, a number of his lectures that we'll focus on. Sisterhood Rosh Chodesh, Sunday the 18th, 10:15 in the morning. Next Friday night, Parsha Noach, all the animals in the ark. We've got a cute little play on this, Shabbat Shabon. I don't know about that, but whatever. Blessing of the pets and a slideshow. Send your photos to Rabbi Tara and Daphna, and we're going to have a fun time with all of our beloved pets, and probably a sermon even about the beauty and the Torah of our four-legged creatures, maybe other creatures as well, other pets as well. October 25, a teen ADL program. Join the good fight against anti-Semitism, the profoundly important fight against anti-Semitism. That's at 7:15 on October 25th. And as well, October 31st, tell all of your high school children or grandchildren. There's a wonderful Shabbat morning, our first virtual special Shabbat on October 31st. You all, probably most of you know about our really wonderful special Shabbat series and last year and the year before. We're trying to launch it again this year virtually as we have guest speakers Amanda Maddenberg and Jill Maddenberg, who will speak about their book entitled Love the Journey to College. So all of you kids from, even 11th and 12th grade, it'll be a really interesting and informative morning, and even maybe 10th graders. Anyway, okay. We now are going to Cantor Adam offer Kiddush with Golan family, Jen, Lior, your children, a Kiddush, Motzi, and then we'll close. Stu, you're gonna highlight the Golans?
Yeah, they are. Hello.
Oh, there you are. Yay.
We're missing one.
Yeah.
We're missing
All right.
at least one. Okay. There we go.
All right.
Wait.
You
There's
lift
another
up-
one. Where's?
The other
you
one
have a-
will be there.
You have a,
Oh, he'll be here in a moment. Okay.
You have a Kiddush cup? Okay, it's all right. You have a Kiddush cup?
Yep.
Okay.
Go for it, Lior, Abba.
All right. Okay. Shall we get going?
Go for it.
The whole thing. Do
Tamshich.
the whole thing.
Tzikadesh.
אני מקדש. אדוני ופרי הגר.
Amen, amen.
Me.
אימא.
Sure. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzav banu v'shabbat kodsho v'yahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikarai kodesh zecher l'tziat mitzrayim כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים ושבה קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
Amen.
All right.
Motzi.
Let's have a little hamotzi
Golan.
action.
Here is אילן.
Amen.
Amen, amen.
Shabbat shalom.
Beautiful. Shabbat shalom. Toda, toda. Beautiful. All right.
We'll close with Adon Olam, which you can find
On
321.
321.
Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem kol Yetzer Nivra Lihet Nasa B'chevtzo kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra V'yacharei ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה לתפארה אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה בתפארה והוא היה והוא הווה בתפארה והוא אחד ואין שני להמשילו להכבירה בלי ראשית בלי תכלית ולא העוז מעם ישראל והוא אלי וחי גואלי וצור חברי ויצרה והוא ניסי ומנוס לי מנת כוסי ביום אקרא אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא, לעת נשא בחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא, ואחרי ככלות הכל, לבדו נמלוך נורא, והוא היה והוא הווה, והוא יהיה בתפארה, אדון עולם אשר מלך, בטרם כל יציר נברא, לעת נשא בחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא, ואחרי ככלות הכל, לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה והוא הווה, בתפארה, והוא היה והוא הווה, בתפארה, והוא היה והוא הווה, בתפארה, והוא היה והוא הווה, בתפארה. בידו אף כדרוכי, בעת אישון ועירה, ועם רוחי גביעתי, אדוני לי ולא יירא. אדון עולם אשר מלך, בטרם כל יציר נברא, לעת נשא בחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא, ואחרי ככלות הכל, לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה והוא הווה, והוא יהיה בתפארה. אדון עולם אשר מלך, בטרם כל יציר נברא, לעת נשא בחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא, ואחרי ככלות הכל, לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה והוא הווה, בתפארה, והוא היה והוא הווה, בתפארה, והוא היה והוא הווה, בתפארה, והוא היה והוא הווה, בתפארה. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Thank you, beautiful, to Cantor Adam and Shai for raising us so high with your beautiful music and beautiful voice.
Thank
and
you, Rabbi,
kavanot.
for your beautiful sermon.
All right, Shabbat shalom, all.